Yo, we're back, guys, with another video. This time, some internet drama. It's been a minute since I talked about some internet drama, but like it's been on my feed so much. Then like some new things came up, so I was like, you know what? At this point, I might as well give my thoughts about the situation or about the things. Hence the name MTAT. Boom. I did that motion because I was gonna put like the subscribe button right there with the motion. We'll see how good that looks. Point is, the topic, if you click the video, was about Akaash Singh and his wife. I think her name is Jasleen. Let me double check. Jasleen. Yeah, that's her name. So, in the span of like what? I want to say this month for the past few weeks, a lot of stuff has happened with them. I'm going to give you all the quick summary about what's going on and then like just really talk about it. Just everything how I felt when I thought about it. So, this really all started off with like this man, Akaash. Hopefully I pronounced that man's name's right. He married this shorty, baddie. He's in love with her. He's happy making money, spoiling his wife. And like again, let me just set the record straight. Nothing wrong with the dude spoiling his wife. That's totally fine. You're making money. You got a good girl with you. You want to spoil her. That's totally fine. But then we get more into the lore of things. Turns out this man was a virgin for most of his life.
Different. My wife also hadn't had any sexual partners, so that helped us connect a lot more.
Now, let me ask you this: do you believe her?
If you've seen her, then it's hard to believe. Yeah. I remember I was just like, "What?" But she was 22, I was 31. There was an age gap.
Sure. Did you lie, or did you come right out and say like, "Oh, me too," or was it what did that conversation go like?
I don't remember how it came. I think she said
you blacked out?
She said it, and then I was like...
When she said, "I'm a virgin," you went, your heart exploded?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, he got happy. He said nothing compared to.
Exactly, dude. I was
a stallion compared to anybody else.
That's great. So happy.
Yeah, that for
so
sure.
So relieved.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it felt right. It was like, oh, God brought me this...
Well, again, nothing wrong with that, but lost his virginity like he's like around 35. And that's when he lost his virginity to her. At the same time, he was telling us how, like, in middle school and even his college years and whatnot, he wasn't that attractive as a guy too. So in his mind right now, this 35-year-old dude hit the lotto because again, he told us like she was around 24, 25 when they met up, and that's when they hooked up. He lost his virginity and whatnot. So you're 35 years old, practically a 40-year-old virgin. Get this baddie 25-year-old. You hook up. This is the first person you're losing virginity to, and apparently she says that you were her first as well. You're like, oh my God, I won the lottery. And also at this point, you're like, upcoming comedian too. So you're low-key stacking up money as well. So at that point, like, okay, I'm going to get money soon. I got this baddie girlfriend. It's looking good. And like you would think, outside looking in, perfectly fine, foundation of a relationship to get married later on. Then we find out news and whatnot that really, she's kind of like a gold digger, if that makes sense, because then she says like her own TikTok, right? And this TikTok, we're hearing like all of her, we'll say veteran stories and how she says like, hey, a man should do all this for a wife. She has to spoil his wife, even if I do nothing for him and whatnot. I could sit around, do nothing all day, but I expect these things to come to me. Then at the same time, she's talking about how like, if a man wants a prenup, that's automatic, cancel the wedding. But if I want a prenup, it's totally valid. Stuff like that, stuff like this popping out. Then at the same time, I'm getting more stories about her past and whatnot. She was saying stuff like how in her college days, she had like a whole roster, was popping pussy and stuff like that. These are her words, by the way. At white boy frat houses and whatnot, going crazy.
Sometimes I get so painfully nostalgic for college. So I was popping my pussy and living my best life in these white boy frat houses. And I had a roster of guys that I would rotate through.
Enjoying life, then telling like other stories too, like how she was on her period at one point. And right after that period, she then had like her past partner eat her out during the period and stuff like that. Just a lot of crazy stuff from her past. And mind you, she said that she was a virgin, but it sounded like she probably wasn't a virgin. But that comes in later, guys. I'm going to build up to it. So then I'm starting to see like the cracks unfold. Like, hey, this man's, ideal life is starting to crack. It wasn't so perfect. Then she gets a podcast too. And on that podcast, it's kind of her just kind of more embarrassing her husband. Because like the main clip that was floating around a couple weeks ago was her like gassing up her friend's husband, saying, "Oh, this his name was Nav. I think his name was saying, "Oh, Nav, he's just so masculine, stuff like that." I think he probably has like a 10-inch dick too, just so insane, stuff like that. Like really gassing this guy up. Also saying how she wants an orgy with Nav and her friend because she wants to hook up with this dude and whatnot.
Did y'all ever have an orgy together with your husbands?
Rhea,
She tried.
I'm actively trying to have an orgy because this couple is so fucking good looking and you haven't seen Nav yet, but wait till you fucking see him. His body goes crazy. His face card always slays, never declines. And it's kind of weird because I'm talking about your husband.
No, I kind of love it, but I'm like, us four? Okay, maybe.
I just know that Nav's dick is like at least 10 inches.
You would only be down for an orgy if we
Or
did
it's
it?
thick. It's thick. I will say, like, Akaash is such a fucking king. Like, everyone knows he's the best husband. And I don't often find men that measure up to him. And, like, Nav completely measures up to him, if not more.
Just really gassing up this dude. And then when you see him, when she comes to the podcast, dude is just kind of like someone said like a Akaash 2.0. Like, they look kind of similar, just he has more confidence on. Like, bro, like you were expecting like some strong, tough dude, like 6'6", buff, really masculine dude, but really just like an average looking dude with a little bit of confidence. That was really it. But she was like very attractive and whatnot. And like these past few clips, which is kind of her doing like a humiliation routine with this dude, like kind of like, just demasculating her man. Because like at first, you hear Akaash talk about his wife, it's like, oh, you have a nice wife, you want to spoil her, totally fine. But now we're hearing her talk and how she sees a relationship, how she just wants things given to her, how she doesn't do anything at the home and whatnot in the house, how she just, kind of just relaxes at the house, does nothing while he works all day and spoils her. At that point, it just kind of sounds like a relationship where it's just him doing everything and she just reaps the benefits. And it's like, that's at that point not so great, bro. I feel like if you're going to be a wife like that, you want to be spoiled, that's totally fine, but at least offer something to contribute. Like, if that's how you want to do things, fine. But from the outside looking in, especially with all this information, it just kind of seems like you're okay with this dude, you just with this guy for the money. And I think he realized that too, like she's kind of with him for the money. But again, he doesn't even care that much because again, you weren't getting action for 35 years of your life. You finally got one girl and you're like, oh, I gotta lock this down, I don't care what, let me just throw money at her. Boom, bam, she'll stay with me because of the money and everything will be good. And at that point, for a relationship, that's not it, bro. Like if she's sticking around just for the money, and she's just for the money, that's not something you should really, invest time and effort into. And then later on, like he had this whole story like, oh, we were broke together and whatnot, and I think she stayed with me when we were broke. So at that point where we put the wars together, like, now that I have all this money and whatnot, it's worth it in the end because like she saw me at my lowest, so like obviously she's gonna stick around for my highest. There's something called investing, and sometimes people could like see a good prospect of like, hey, this man's gonna get money at some point. And we know this man was on the come up of money because like around that time, or that time frame he was talking about, he was hanging out with Andrew Schultz, who is now, as you know, like has his podcast and whatnot, makes money. I think it was also MTV as well. So like he was already on TV and whatnot. He was already like, he was always making waves and whatnot. So her seeing the potential in investing, like, hey, yo, this guy's gonna make money eventually. You having like that broke boy moment, sleeping on the floor and whatnot, on your friend's couch, all that stuff, that backstory. Yes, she was a real one in that sense, but her knowing that, hey, he has connections to the future, yeah, that's not really like a huge thing where it's like, hey, she's a real one for sure. If she didn't know about the prospects or knew that you were on TV and whatnot, and stuck with you regardless, and you say you're going to do these things without the connections, for sure. But the fact that you were already in the works, like one step closer to making the money, not she wasn't there with you for years on end, for you building up that foundation, not really the same thing in my opinion. But it doesn't end there. Recently, they had like a podcast together. Well, it's kind of like, damage control. Like they hopped on like Andrew Schultz's podcast, I think it was. And during that podcast, it's kind of like, her taking back everything she said and just saying, oh, it was in jokes or me being hyperbolic and whatnot. So, if I can find the clip, I'll show it. But like the biggest one was like, I'll say the biggest two, in my opinion, was like the popping pussy one. When it's just like, oh no, popping pussy just means I'm just, dancing around having a fun night on the town. That's what she thought that meant. And that's what they try to paint that as. Like, oh yo, that just means you're dancing, having like, white girl fun and whatnot. And she didn't understand what the term meant. And I feel like this feels like gaslighting, bro. Because like we all know when people say they're popping it, they're kind of going crazy. They're in the streets having fun in the sheets. You know what I mean? That's what that term means. So like trying to backstep into saying, oh no, just dancing and whatnot, it's not really like that. Obvious way to just throw that out the window when you know what that was supposed to mean. And at the same time, she meant hooking up as in making out with people. It's like, no, hooking up means hooking up. Like when I say I hooked up with someone, I mean like, oh yeah, I hooked up with the shorty. My friends is thinking, oh yeah, he just probably kissed her. No, it means I did the no pants dance with old girl, and that's what I meant when I say hooked up, or just some naughty things. That's what that means. Even with roster too, when she said she had a roster, you would think roster means you have like a couple people you're talking to, but for her, no, it was just two guys I was flirting with. So a lot of the things I meant to say, I didn't really mean. I'm backstepping on those things, and it's obviously doing like a lot of damage control because like right now it's been blown out of proportion. And like a bunch of these clips of you, practically going like college girl going crazy. You know what I mean? Because if you know ball, you know ball. Like girls who've been like very conservative, like in middle school, high school, grew up in religious households. Once they go to college, they go wild. They go sicko mode. But they might have like some, I'll say, boundaries where it's like, oh, I can't have sex, vaginal sex, but anal stuff, that's kind of okay. Stuff like that. They have like bypass so they could keep that, virginity up. Now with her, she said she was a virgin with Nash, or not Nash, but Akaash. I'm going to say, for argument's sake, we'll just say she was a virgin, didn't do any vaginal stuff. But everything else, it seems like she did everything else though. Like, head, getting head, stuff like that. Like all the other sexual stuff, I'm pretty sure she did, but vaginal stuff, we'll assume she didn't. Yes, you could lie about being a virgin, but at that point, whatever, that we're not going to put you to lie detector test. Like, don't people know that it's yourself and the universe? You know what I mean? So I can't be like, she said she's a virgin, but I don't believe her. She's lying. We don't know unless we get like a lie detector test, something like that. You know what I mean? So we'll take her one word about that. But like everything else though, those are obvious backtracks, if that makes sense. Like with everything you said, it's just obvious backtracks. And at the end of the day, you just kind of feel bad for the dude, bro, because like for the past this month at least, your shorty's been like talking all this crazy stuff. Kind of, not, what I want to say, it's like the Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith situation going on again. You know what I mean? Where like your wife kind of just exposes everything behind the curtains and like just makes you look crazy, makes her look crazy, when this whole picture has been painted of you guys being like, the solid power couple. You know what I mean? So it's just unfortunate to see, and like it really just goes to show you like, as a guy, you actually need that real confidence. Like money, you getting money and status won't fix all your eternal issues, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, you got the money, yeah, you got the status, and yeah, you got the baddie, but like clearly, like she doesn't really respect you that much, and like she's just using you for money too at this point practically. It's not good. And you thinking like the money's going to like, fix those cracks, it really isn't. You need someone who's going to like you for you, and the money is a bonus. That's what it is. Like, yeah, you have money now, but like that money is a bonus and used to like gifts and stuff like that. That's totally fine, but like it's not gonna, what I'm trying to say, you having the money won't fix everything. That's practically it. Like, you getting rich and everything doesn't guarantee you to get the girl. Yeah, it might bring some girls, and it's good bait for the shorty here for sure, but like, is that shorty really there for you or for the money? And I feel like this shorty, we clearly see, she's kind of happy with the money. Like, yeah, she likes your friends and whatnot, but like clearly she's reminiscent on those college days, even your homeboy now, to like fantasize about like hooking up with him in orgies and whatnot. Clearly she does not respect you fully, bro, and really just cares about you for the money. Then on top of that, there was like this video too, like, he was re-proposing to his girl, and like he gave her the ring, and like the entire time with that re-proposing for the family, she was just gasping up that ring, like, oh my god, this ring, it's so great, it's so fantastic, stuff like that. He goes in for a kiss, she kind of sidesteps the kiss, And again, it just goes to show you, like, you know, with the affection stuff like that too, like, she doesn't really rock with you, and that's what the issue is right here. It's like, got this girl that doesn't really rock with you, and money isn't going to fix that. She's never going to really rock with you for real, and that's just unfortunate to see. You just kind of just, in my opinion, you chose the wrong girl. You want a girl that's actually going to rock with you and whatnot, and the money for her is a bonus. If the money is like her only thing that gravitates her towards you, that ain't it, bro. That is never it. You know what I mean? And it's a confidence thing too, because like he was never confident in himself. Because again, you see in clips he's talking down himself too, saying I wasn't that attractive, I was a 35-year virgin, stuff like that. And then clearly, my guess is, we don't know. I don't know all the stuff about him. I'm guessing it wasn't a virgin by choice. Just, you know, you couldn't really pull like the way you aimed to pull. So at that point, just kind of stuck with us. Be like, you know what? I'm going to just say I'm going to wait till marriage and whatnot. But even then, I think he didn't wait till marriage. He hooked up with her as soon as he got the chance. So even then, bro, it's an unfortunate situation, really. You know, just I think overall this story just goes to show that, yeah, you could get money, but money doesn't unlame a lame. You know what I mean? You gotta first unlame yourself, be confident who you are. And once that happens, you have that confidence, that real confidence, you know what I mean? You will be straight, because clearly he still doesn't have like that confidence in himself yet. He still sees himself as that lame from middle school that got no play. And like he won the lottery with this shorty. In reality, your mindset should be, once you're at this grown age, you're like, I think he's in his 40s now, right? Let's Google that real quick. How old this guy is. Akaash Singh. He's 41 years old. So you're in your fresh 40. At this point in your life, you should have some confidence in yourself. And that old part of you, that lame in middle school, high school, even college years too, that guy is gone now. But I feel like he's still stuck in a mental space of, I'm still that lame. I just got lucky. You know what I mean? So I got to do everything I can to hold this girl down. And me holding that girl down is throwing money at her so she just stays and be happy. So I don't care what she does at that point. As long as she's getting the money, as long as she stays with me, I'm happy. That's not healthy at all, in my opinion. She should be staying there for you. And that's it. But yeah, that's it for the video, y'all. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. I want to talk about this because really it's just an insane situation to see, man. Just insane. And yeah, hopefully you take a lesson from this, bro. Make sure you love yourself first. I think that's a real lesson from all this. That you take away from this video. Love yourself first. Make sure you're good mentally before you go off and try to find a relationship. Because like if you're not mentally there, they really are just going to use and abuse you, belittle you, stuff like that. Use your money and all that stuff. You don't want that. Make sure they like you for you and the confident you who you are supposed to be. And at that point, once you know that love is there, give them the world. At that point, they deserve it because they love you for you. And your love could either be affectionate, money, whatever. But you know they're there for you. And like the money stuff is only just a bonus and not a priority. That's the gold nugget right there. Okay. That's it for the video, guys. And I'll catch y'all later. Be easy.